Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So you got to stay on top of your program. That's the message for the day. Stay on top of the mind, body, and soul program. Stay on top of it every day. Don't give up on one or two aspects of it. Every single day we work out, we exercise, we get our body moving. Every day. Even if you're not weight training, you can still be doing something. You don't just sit around or lay around or become a sloth. That's not rest. You want to have active rest. We stay active every day. We do this for our mental health. We do this for our physical health. You don't give up on that. When you give up on it, you'll find other areas in your life that you become weaker in. All of a sudden, you've given up on the gym because you just don't feel like it. Whatever your goddamn excuse is, your little bitch excuse. Oh, I'm sore. That's always one. I'm just feeling sore. My back is sore. They come up with this mystery back fucking illness that nobody can fix. You go ask anybody with a bad back, not anybody, but most people, you go ask them, oh, you want to go to the doctor? And they'll be like, oh no, fuck doctors. And they come up with all these reasons why nothing works. Here, you need some ibuprofen. Oh, that doesn't work for me. They just want to be in bad back mode. It's an excuse. Stop coming up with an excuse to get out of doing hard work, to get out of making yourself stronger. Ask yourself every day, do I want to be weaker or do I want to be stronger today? Do I want to move forward or do I want to go backwards today? If you say, I want to go backwards today, most people don't. Most people would never say that. They don't want to admit that to themselves. They would rather say, I want to move forward and then sit around and do nothing. At the end of a week, at the end of 6 weeks, at the end of 6 years, they've still gotten nowhere in life. You want to be able to push yourself and stay disciplined and stay on top of your program. Exercise is important. You want to kill your morning. You want to be able to feel strong all the time. If you don't stay active in all the areas of the mind, body, and soul program, you start to degenerate in all areas. Deteriorate in all areas. You start to fall apart. You start to slip backwards. All those problems that you thought you were working on, because it's all connected. You stop one area and it creates an opening for your weaknesses to come working back in like smoke coming creeping under the door. So if you don't read for a half hour every day, every single morning I read. Every morning. That's the first thing I do when I get out of bed. I crawl out of bed. I make my bed is the first thing I do. And then I come into the living room, still in my underwear, still tired. I set myself a glass of water down and next to a book. And I read for at least a half hour. Every day, 7 days a week, you have to do it. Read something that's exciting. But if it's not, read something boring. Read anything. Read the goddamn phone book. Read the Bible. Read any fucking thing. It's a way to get your mind going. You have this brain that's a fucking computer. It's a machine and you got to run that shit. You can't just operate on one side of your brain all the time. You have to have the analytical side to have those things firing. A lot of us work on that when we're in school because we're forced to. And then as soon as we either graduate high school or college, however far you decide to go, you never use that side of your fucking brain again. You got to stay active. If you don't stay active mentally and stay learning, I like to read stuff that I learn about. Some people just like novels and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with exercising your imagination. That's an important skill. I like to read history. I like to read science. Right now I'm reading a book that when I bought it, I thought it was a history book. It's called The History of Everything. It's a science book. It's the history of science, and it's rather, I mean, it's a good book to go to sleep to, I'll tell you that. But I've been learning a lot. You got to stay on top of that shit every day. You can't just slack off. Oh, I haven't written in a week, a year. I don't really like to read. I hate to read. I have dyslexia. Reading to me is harder for me than it is for you, and I don't even know who's watching the video. I guarantee it's harder for me than it is for you. Reading is goddamn hard for me, and I read every single day. I also write books, which is also hard for me. I go at a snail's pace, but I still dredge through it. It could take me 6 months to read a fucking book. I know people that can read books in a week. Take me 6 months to read that same book. And that's every day of me sitting there trying to read it. I go, that's slow. But I still do it, and I hate it. Reading for me is worse than going to the gym. I'm better at the gym. I've always been more of a jock than a nerd. But you got to force yourself to learn shit or you become stupid. If you haven't been actively trying to learn this year, then you've been actively becoming more stupid this year. You're a disgrace to the human race if you allow yourself to become stupid. Evolution is about learning and moving forward. You're a disgrace to your goddamn family if you allow yourself to become stupid. You say that you're raising your kids. You're not raising your kids. You're raising little idiot monsters. Why? Because you're fucking stupid. You have to educate yourself. We have to make this our own, part of our daily schedule. Because no one's going to make us do it. We're not in school anymore. You're not living with your parents who are telling you to do your homework. You have to create some homework for yourself. If you're not staying on top of learning about the mind, learning about spirituality, learning about philosophical topics, asking the big questions and sitting there trying to answer them, those big existential questions. If you're not exploring a spiritual side of some sort, doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you worship trees or are Christian. I don't care if you like Buddhism or Jainism. That's a weird one. Go Google Jainism. That's a real thing. Or Vedanta, or, I don't care what you are. Jewish, Muslim, doesn't matter to me. Just like all the old philosophers, because they talk about a lot of the same things. Go read about Plato and Socrates and Nietzsche and get even to some psychology with Jung and Freud, and they're all asking the same big questions. Why do we do things, and why is man the way he is, and what's death about, and learn about this stuff. Get into that shit, man. Make time for that kind of thought. That activates a certain aspect of your brain that creates you as a whole person. And I tell you, if you're single and you're going on dates, this is good topics. Get into some deep conversations. You really get to know who somebody is and what their outlook is. I love deep conversations. It's an important part of us with our mind, body, and soul program. You can't just work out all the time and think that you're going to be able to tackle everything else that comes along with mental health. It does a little bit of it. And you got your affirmations, and you got some time to release energies, and it's time to build your confidence. And it does some stuff, but only a part of it. Sitting there reading books. You could read books until the cows come home. It doesn't make you a well-rounded person. So you have to activate all aspects of the mind, body, and soul program all the time. And this is how you become stronger. This is how you harden your shell. This is how you become more resilient. This is how you get over depression quicker, become depressed less often. You find yourself not being as anxiety-ridden. Panic attacks, anxiety attacks are becoming further and fewer between, and even if you do have one, it's a shorter duration and not as intense. This is how you get on top of all this stuff, and you got to be relentless with it. And the people that aren't, people that fall off on one of these aspects or all of them, that just give up for a couple weeks, you're going to constantly stay on that roller coaster ride of life. Your problems are going to be right on your heels. My problems are way the fuck back there. If I took a day off, they might catch up a little bit. My problems are pretty fucking strong. They might be stronger than yours, so they might catch up quick. If I took a couple days off, who knows? They might be right up on me. But if you're not really staying true and staying disciplined and staying hardcore about your program every single fucking day, then all your issues that you're battling are just looming right over you. And you can't take a break in the middle of a battle. You can't just sit down if you're in the middle of, you have your sword and shield in hand and you're in the middle of fighting And then you want to be like, a smoke break, guys. Let's just take a rest. You can't do that. That's how you get killed. So you have to have the strength to fight. The Mind, Body, and Soul program that I'm always promoting in every one of my videos builds that strength. It's a lifestyle. It's not just some quick fix, self-help bullshit. This is a way of being. This is how hardcore motherfuckers live. Be hardcore. Thanks for watching.